Today's video is going to be a little bit different to the type of videos we normally do on this channel. Firstly, I'm not wearing makeup all day, and therefore I'm not wearing makeup in this video because it's going to take all day to film. Sorry, you just get me like this. Second, we're doing kind of an unscientific test to see if this, the home integration system, combined with this, our Ford Charge Station Pro, combined with this, my F150 Lightning, can actually power my house in a power cut for, well, all day. We're going to see how much energy we use. We're going to see if there are any issues. And we're going to report on my experiences. This will be the longest test of the Ford home integration system we've had, and it's a planned power cut, so stick around, I'll tell you some more. You might want to know why I am holding a ball thrower. It's because it's very early in the morning, and these are my two border collies, Ghost and Sky, and they are adorable. It is about 7 o'clock in the morning. The reason I am filming this with the ball chucker and everything else is because at this time of day the dogs would normally be getting their playtime. So Mr. Ghost has this thing he does where he lets the ball run downhill, and then I have to pick it up, and then I have to throw it for him. You ready? Go, go, go. Go get it. Off he goes. I've explained the ball chucker. Now let's explain the why so early. So about 4 or 5 days ago, we got a letter from the local utility company, and they said that they would be replacing this power pole outside of the house with a metal one. And that means they need to disconnect the power to the house. I think the letter said from 8 a.m. to about 3 in the afternoon. It may be done sooner, it may take a little bit longer. They're also going to be replacing this, which is affectionately known as the can. It is a transformer. It takes the high voltage from the transmission wires and spits out something that a normal house can use. And so we're going to be off all day. The power is going to be off all day. And so what we're going to do is we are going to test the home integration system and give you a real world test of what happens when we power our home all day off of this truck. So it is now 8:10 or something in the morning. We haven't had the power company turn up yet, and the power is still on. I fed the dogs, I picked some fresh fruit from the garden, had fresh apples, strawberries, blackberries and raspberries from my garden, along with some homemade yogurt I made last week. And then I had some homemade coffee. Well, home roasted coffee. I guess I don't grow the beans at my house, although that would be cool. Cheers. You should try self-roasting. It's a lot cheaper if you buy the green beans in bulk and then roast it yourself. So if you know anything about the Ford F150 Lightning with the extended range battery pack, you'll know that it has a 131 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is enough stored energy to power the average US home for between 3 and 5 days, and probably the average European home for a week or more. But unfortunately, we are not an average home. We have a server closet here with all the servers that run the Transport Evolved website, and also our Mastodon server, and also our internal server. We also have video production servers that stores, I think we're up to about 1.5 petabytes of combined storage across all of our video storage servers, and that does eat power. We also have a 100% electrically powered home, so we don't have any sort of local utility water. Everything is pumped from the ground. So we have a well with 2 pumps in it, not 1. We also have a septic system, and we need electricity to operate both of those. Otherwise, we don't have any running water. And that was primarily the reason we opted to go for this system from Ford. Now, as you know, it's not been particularly reliable historically, but in the last 6 to 8 months, it's actually been pretty good. And so today's system test is going to be a real life example to see if the system behaves itself and if the truck behaves itself. So yesterday we didn't generate a whole lot of electricity on the roof of our home. You only see it's 37.5 kilowatt hours, which is pretty poor. This time of year, we see anywhere between 70 and 90 kilowatt hours, but it was partly cloudy yesterday. So, you know, we didn't generate a huge amount of power. As a kind of contrast, today already, we've generated 2.73 kilowatt hours of electricity. You'll see today we've already brought in 53.5 kilowatt hours from the grid, but some of that power actually went to boosting the truck's battery pack. We normally charge the truck up to 80%. We don't need it to be much fuller than that, but for this test overnight, I did get the truck to charge all the way up to 100%. So back to yesterday. You'll see yesterday we consumed just under 118 kilowatt hours from the grid. And in the middle of the afternoon, you'll see these big spikes. That's because we had a press truck at the house charging. We had the Mercedes-Benz e-Sprinter. There is a video review coming on that in the next month or so. And it's got quite a beefy battery pack and it's quite thirsty. So it was at the house yesterday for sort of 3-4 hours and charging while it was here. And that's what you see here as a spike. And on a bad day, when multiple members of the TE team are over and we've been using the truck for filming, we can very often exceed 200, 250 kilowatt hours. And it's all dependent on how many large batteries we need to charge up from the grid. But as you can see, we peaked yesterday about 11 a.m. with 6.5, 7 kilowatt hours of electricity. But the utility company are just pulling up outside. So let's see where we go from here. You might not be able to see this because the sunlight is pretty strong, but right at the end of the driveway, there is a big truck that is the first part of the team that's come to replace the power line. And rather than wait for them to officially turn the power off, I actually switched this system over early. So how I did that was I switched off my main breaker here and I switched off power to the charge station. So right now, technically, part of our house is being powered by the truck. These are the non-essential circuits. These are the ones that don't have any kind of power backup. So in here, we've got our juice boxes. So that's our 50 amp supply to our juice boxes. We then have a 60 amp supply to our span charger for the bolts. And then there's some plugs in the garage. And then I think there's also, this is the stove and this is the dryer. Both of these will be powered off all day. So no cooking for us, but everything else is being powered by the truck. So that's the pump house. That is all of the lights, the air conditioning, everything else. And just to prove that is all working, let's go around to the back of the house here, where you will see the air conditioning is working here for the server room. This is the air conditioning for the house. It's my air gradient, ignore that. The air conditioning is on for the garage. I don't know why. My wife likes to keep it pretty dry in there. She's got a lot of wood in there right now. So I'm actually going to go and turn that one off. But you can hear this unit is making a barely perceptible whining sound. That is the inverter working really hard. So with the inverter working hard and the charging station transferring power, we can now go inside and see what's what. Okay, so it is about 10:25 in the morning. I switched over to the truck power about 8:45-ish, just before then actually. And the truck's state of charge has dropped from 100% to 98% in that time. They've literally just turned the power off. So up until this point, they were working outside and I'd switched the truck over to powering the home because I wanted to make sure that it engaged properly. It's now entirely powering the home. There is no mains power coming in. So our non-backed up power circuits are officially dead. But let's switch to my screen recording and I'll go through some of the data and how I'm recording it. So this is my Home Assistant dashboard. This is my PowerFlow Plus card. It shows some of the different places that power is being sent in my house right now. I've currently tweaked it slightly so that it doesn't jump around to show the highest consumers. I'm just emphasizing my HVAC, my water system, my EV charging, and the power going to our server room. You'll see here that it shows Ortegas and the power coming here from the truck and going into the house. You'll also see that it shows on battery. I will explain how I did that in a moment. We've also got solar. That shows 0. As I said at the beginning, our solar panels are grid tied. So when the grid is down, they don't produce any energy, which is frustrating because today's a really lovely sunny day. And when I eventually can tie this to the truck, I won't actually have to provide much power from the truck to the house. EV charging, that is not the Ford Charge Station Pro. So that's the span panel charging station, the span drive they call it, and also the 2 juice boxes. Now between them, the span panel has a 60 amp dedicated feed for the span drive, and it also then has 2 juice boxes that are sharing a single 50 amp supply. They are both powered down. All of them are powered down right now because obviously there's a power cut and they are not backed up by the truck. So that's why they're reading 0. What we do have here is the 1.37 kilowatts going to the server room because the server room is up. The server room doesn't just include the transport of old servers, but it also includes my home server, so things for running this program. Home Assistant is running off of a computer in the server closet, and also our internet connection and our home surveillance system. Some of the footage you're probably going to see in this video because I happen to have a camera pointing directly at that pylon. So that's how much power is being used in there. And we do actually have a backup power system set up in the server room. So if you look here, these are the 2 UPSs that we've got running in our server closet. But right now you'll see that they're both showing at 100% because as far as they are concerned, they are being powered by electricity from the grid. This one is already fully charged. This little APC unit is still charging up from the 5 or 10 minutes or so that it genuinely was powering the server room while we transferred power this morning. You'll also see here we've got HVAC. So we've got this one here, which is how much power is going to cool the server room, and this one is how much power is going to cool the rest of the house. And then here we've got the water information. So this top number is how much power is going to the pumps for the wells and also for the septic system. And then the one underneath is the electricity going to our water heater. So this is all being powered directly off the truck. And you'll see it's just ticked down. The state of charge from was 98 earlier, and it's now 97.5. So let's go over to our custom card here that shows what's going on with the F150 Lightning. You'll see it's powering the house at 4.28 kilowatts right now. This is a dynamic figure that I pull from one of the other sensors in the house. And this is tracking what my state of charge is and my range. Now, when I started the experiment, I was actually incorrect about the range. It said 337 miles when I started this, and it was 100%. And the truck sat at 100% for a significant amount of time. I think that's probably because I normally only ever charge to like 80–85%. And I suspect that in charging it all the way up to 100%, I actually rebalanced things a little bit and the system reset itself. So it'll be interesting to see how low this gets throughout today. We've also got this here, the Ford Charge Station Pro and the home integration system. This is from a custom integration that I wrote myself called local-fcsp. And you'll see here that it shows that we have a power cut, and it says that it's powering the home, as does the home integration system. And if we go into our attributes here, you'll see that it says there's an inverter connected, and then down here it will say the status is powering home, and then down here it's got state here of 5, and that state of 5 means it's powering the home. So it's 0 if it's not powering the home, it's 1 if there is a power cut and the system is preparing to power the house, and then it goes to 5 if it is actively powering. So one of the questions I know people are going to be asking is, how much energy has my truck delivered to the house today? And so I built this morning in a little bit of a rushed way. I didn't get all of the very initial start of providing power because I actually coded it incorrectly when I started. So you can see here, this is where the Home Assistant starts tracking the amount of power that we're delivering to the house from the truck. And right now, it's just about coming up to 7 kilowatt hours of power that we have delivered. So it's tracking the energy. As you can see, that powering home has changed every time it talks to the current sensors in the house. We're running Emporia views. We've got 2 of them, and every time there's a change, it reflects here. And this will slowly tick down, and the range will slowly tick down, as you can see. It is now coming up to 1:30. The power should be back on in about an hour and a half. You can see they've made some great big progress. They've replaced the pylon with a metal one, and they're just taking down the wooden one now. They're putting everything back on. The can is already up there and is being wired. That's the can that converts the high voltage power into the lower voltage 240 split phase that we get at the house. So that's all good. The truck has been doing really, really well. So far, the truck reports having a state of charge of about 88.5%, 89%. Interestingly though, the home integration system has provided, at least according to Home Assistant, has provided about 16.5, 17 kilowatt hours of power to the house. Now, if you take into consideration the fact that the truck has a 131 kilowatt hour battery pack, something there is off. The truck is reporting a higher state of charge than I think it should. However, it's worth noting that the home integration system pulls such a low current from the battery compared to just driving the thing that it could have thrown the algorithm inside the truck off a bit. So like this truck can normally get through a kilowatt hour of energy in 2.5, 3 miles, depending on how it's being driven. As it stands right now, it's using power at a much, much lower rate. And so that could have resulted in less voltage sag from the battery pack, which could result in the system thinking it's got a higher state of charge than it actually has. But the discrepancy, according to my calculations, is a few percent. It literally is like 1 or 2% difference between what I think it should say and what it's reporting. So I'm not going to get super butthurt about it. The important thing is that even though we're honing in on 17 kilowatt hours of energy provided to the truck, the state of charge, even if we calculate it ourselves, is still higher than what it would be just sat there normally. So me charging up from 85 to 100% was enough energy to keep the house running, from 8:40 in the morning to, as I say, 1:30 in the afternoon. Everything is working as it should. This is not too hot. It's, pulsing gently. You probably can't see it. It's probably not showing up on camera, but it's pulsing green very gently. This unit is off. This one doesn't get a backup power. So all of the circuits that are in here are currently powered off, but the rest of the house is functioning. This is warm, not super warm. I mean, you can touch it, but it's still doing its job. So far then, so good. It has just gone 2:35 in the afternoon. You can see they're still working on the power pole. They have replaced it. The old one is now cut in half, and they're just affixing all of the furniture to the new one, and the power just came back on. How did I know the power came back on? Because the power in the house blipped literally for a quarter of a second, half a second, and then it switched over as the house went from truck power to house power. I've moved the truck, I've unplugged it and I moved it just because I wanted to record this end section. There are many wasps around, so if I look a little nervous, I don't know why there are so many wasps suddenly, Whether there were wasps in that power line and now they're getting angry and flying around, I don't know. But I'm allergic to them. So if I look a little nervous, it's because I am. So let's talk about how much power we used and what the end result was. So according to Home Assistant and the integration I have in Home Assistant, we provided 20.08 kilowatt hours from the truck to the house from like 8:40 something in the morning until just after 2:30 in the afternoon. That's 20 kilowatt hours. This has a 131 kilowatt hour battery pack. So that suggests that this truck would be able to power what is effectively a very power hungry home, certainly for more than a day. And that is good news. I have never really used this in anger in this way. I've used it to earn money at the end of the day when I'm not really using equipment in the studio or anything like that. But today it was full bore work day, and we were able to get everything running and working as we wanted it to. Everything has behaved itself. The charging station is now resting, and everything else here is back where it should be, so that's good. As you can see, they are just about to take another truck away, and then it will be easier to move around. I will be glad to get rid of all of the noise. It was quite noisy when they were fitting all the stuff. I genuinely don't know if the other power thing is going or not today, but I guess I'll go and ask them after I finished filming. But it's really nice to know that I live in an area where a utility company is actively working to make sure that I continue to have power, to make sure that the transformer and everything is properly rated for the home. There are many people who live up here with electric cars. So we have the F150 Lightning, we have the Vectrex, we have the Bolt. Everyone who works at Transport Evolved currently drives a plug-in car, and so they regularly charge here. Obviously, we have press cars charging here. There is a business effectively 2 doors down who have a Hummer EV, and they have another EV, I think, that they have on their quote-unquote work fleet. Opposite them, there is someone with a Busy Forks, a Toyota Busy Forks. There is another Lightning on this road, I believe. I've lost track of the number of Chevrolet Bolts and Teslas I've seen of various sorts. And so, you know, upgrading the power line to take into consideration the extra charging requirements, but also the increased number of people who are having solar installed. And that's really great to see. So did this go the way you expected? I'm actually pleasantly surprised. We did have a few glitches where, you know, there was a sudden change in demand and the inverter had a mild hiccup, but it just picked up where it left off and carried on. We weren't without power for any period of time. Like I say, there was just those few little glitches where the power kind of literally blipped while the inverter caught up. But smooth, reliable, and I'm very impressed. And I should point out, this is the most positive experience I've had with my F-150 Lightning powering the home. This system has been unreliable. Ford is working to fix some more bugs with the system, one of them being the automatic power transfer. It still doesn't automatically wake the truck up and start transferring power, but it's much better than it used to be. I'd love to know your thoughts in the down below or on our website or wherever you prefer to make comments. And we'll be back with more conventional content very soon.
Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them in our Discord chat room, on our Patreon page, down below, on our blog, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon or Blue Sky. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are part of the massive community of supporters who make this channel possible, helping us through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and helping us to remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the link below. We've got options available across a wide range of different price points from just $1.50 US a month. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: M. Wessie, Les Magnar, MX Flounder, NYTMR, Thrill Nelly, Hernan Giraldo, Christopher Bloodworth, Eric Rouvier, Ronnie E. Bickers Jr., Brett Mason, George Piney, Mega XLR, Robert Coghill, Peter Bodica, Gary Wood, Dessa Bird Traveller, Tim van der Loeng, Mike Clark, Kyle Olin, Rob Hutchinson, Tony Ladig, Chris Nichols, Tempus, Adrian Atwater, Doug Lloyd, Mitch Rasner, and Brad. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your moment of fame, and you can even gift membership to someone else. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. Address on our website. You'll also find links to our swag store, and if you're someone who has to shop on Amazon, please consider using our affiliate link so we get the commission, not Jeff Bezos. So we can continue to focus on making our content even better and reduce burnout, we are being a little freer with our release days, but plan on dropping new content every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday on our main channel, plus something on Sunday over on TE Take 2. If you want more, the mighty algorithm that hates us thinks you should be watching this video, but we think this one is one you should also check out. Be awesome, be kind, be intentional, and don't forget to resist. Keep evolving.